Welcome fellow gamer, I'm Mountain, and in today's video we are going to delve deep in the Carbine class on BattleBit Remastered. This class has some of the most used and famous weapons in the game, and in this video you are going to discover, like I did, if any of these weapons are made for you and your playstyle, and if so, where and how to use them effectively. We are also going to explore all the stats of all carbines to be able to compare them, and how the stats and the weapons really perform in-game. So buckle up your seatbelt because we are going to start our road trip in this magnificent class right now. Let's start by seeing the TTKs and bullets to kill of which weapon to a standard 100 health enemy, to have a better idea of what these weapons are capable of. First we have the M4A1, with a TTK of 342 milliseconds, and it needs 4 bullets in the chest area to eliminate the target. This weapon has an headshot TTK of 256 milliseconds, and it needs 3 bullets in the head to eliminate the target. The M4A1 brings at the start a 30 bullet mag that you can reload in 3.79 seconds. This weapon has a damage fall-off that starts at 75 meters up to 300 meters. This weapon is the first weapon available on this class, and right out of the package this weapon is one of the best in game. You can never go wrong with the M4A1. This weapon has one of the smoothest recoils for its class. The only one better in the recoil department than the M4A1 is our next weapon. Next we have the famous Groza, with a TTK of 278 milliseconds, and it needs 3 bullets in the chest area to eliminate the target. This weapon has a headshot TTK of 185 milliseconds, and it needs 2 bullets in the head to eliminate the target. The Groza brings at the start a 30 bullet mag that you can reload in 4.3 seconds. The Groza has a damage fall-off that starts at 60 meters up to 200 meters. This weapon has the lowest vertical and horizontal recoil for its class, and combined with the second slowest fire rate in this class, makes the Groza a laser beam. And to compensate the low fire rate, this weapon has the highest damage profile for its class of 34. Next on the list is the AS Vault, with a TTK of 301 milliseconds, and it needs 4 bullets in the chest area to eliminate the target. This weapon has a headshot TTK of 226 milliseconds, and it needs 3 bullets in the head to eliminate the target. The AS Vault brings at the start a 20 bullet mag that you can reload in 3.33 seconds. This weapon has a damage fall-off that starts at 50 meters up to 200 meters. The Val is one of the weapons in this class that I find a little bit odd. He has the second highest recoil for his class and also the second highest fire rate of this class. Makes hitting targets at mid ranges harder than his comrades. Next we have the G36C, with a TTK of 320 milliseconds, and he needs 4 bullets in the chest area to eliminate the target. This weapon has a headshot TTK of 240 milliseconds, and it needs 3 bullets in the head to eliminate the target. The G36C brings at the start a 30 bullet mag that you can reload in 3.73 seconds. This weapon has a damage fall-off that starts at 75 meters up to 300 meters. This weapon, it felt like a copy-paste of the M4A1, but with a little bit more of damage, and also a little bit more of recoil. Other than that, it felt like I was using the M4A1. Next we have the HK419, with a TTK of 290 milliseconds, and it needs 4 bullets in the chest area to eliminate the target. This weapon has a headshot TTK of 217 milliseconds, and it needs 3 bullets in the head to eliminate the target. The HK419 brings at the start a 30 bullet mag that you can reload in 3.9 seconds. This weapon has a damage fall-off that starts at 75 meters up to 300 meters. This weapon has the highest fire rate for its class, and with a quite high recoil, and because of that, hitting targets with this weapon at longer ranges is not impossible, but a complicated task. But when used at closer and mid ranges, it's a good weapon. And finally, we have the AK-5C, with a TTK of 300 milliseconds, and it needs 3 bullets in the chest area to eliminate the target. This weapon has a headshot TTK of 200 milliseconds, and it needs 2 bullets in the head to eliminate the target. The AK-5C brings at the start a 30 bullet mag that you can reload in 3.92 seconds. This weapon has a damage fall-off that starts at 75 up to 300 meters. This weapon has the highest damage profile for its class, the same as the Groza. But unlike the Groza, the AK-5C also has the highest recoil for its class. But to compensate and balance this weapon, the devs made this gun also with the lowest fire rate for its class, making this weapon more manageable in the recoil department. After playing with all the weapons available on this class and analyzing all stats, I have found out some interesting facts about these weapons. If you are more of a mid-range aficionado, well, the Carbine class is made for you. This class has some of the best choices in the game for a passive or aggressive mid-range playstyle. The weapons that stand out the most for me are the M4A1, the Groza, the G36C and the AK-5C because of their similarities. But we are going to talk about the Vol and the HK419 later. Let's say that they are special and different weapons for the moment. If you are new to this game, your first option in this class is the M4A1. But don't let the fact that this weapon is a starting weapon fool you. This weapon is one of the most consistent and reliable weapons in this class. And yes, it has the slowest TTK for its class, but it compensates with this consistency. It doesn't require a big knowledge in ammo management, and its recoil makes it easy to aim even at longer distances. So if you intend to fight at mid-ranges and outside buildings, this is a perfect entry weapon for new gamers and for those that don't want to try hard and just want to have fun. At the same level, the G36C, like I said before, is a copy-paste of the M4A1, but with a better TTK and a little more of recoil. So if you feel that you already mastered the M4A1 or that you need more firepower, the G36C should be your next weapon to use. It's also a nice and balanced weapon that pushes the boundaries of the M4A1 a little bit further. Perfect for pushing objectives at mid-ranges, even in the open, where cover is scarce. And even if you must engage multiple targets, this weapon will not let you down. The AK-5C is a weapon that fooled me. I really thought that this weapon was a broken mess, with a high recoil, the highest for its class. But actually, after using it, it felt like I was using the G36C with a little bit more of steroids, but nothing that I couldn't control. In reality, the devs addressed the weapon's high recoil by reducing the fire rate, which is the slowest in its class. These adjustments helps balance out the recoil for the weapon, and to compensate the slow fire rate, they gave this weapon more damage, the highest for its class, and the same as the Groza. In the end, this weapon puts the bar higher for players, by delivering more power and faster TTK, but demanding more aiming skills from its users. But if you can deal with the extra recoil, this weapon will deliver a slightly better TTK and competitive experience. A great weapon for those that like to roam the front lines and attack objectives at mid-ranges. The AK-5C will deliver massive amounts of damage, killing multiple enemies with one mag, before you need to reload. But if you have to do it, be careful. This weapon has the second slowest reload for its class, so stay always close to cover, just in case. So, for the weapon with the fastest TTK is without a doubt the Groza, probably one of the most used weapons by players in this class. The problem with this weapon, it is reload time of 4.3 seconds, granting this weapon the highest reload time for its class, forcing all players that use this weapon to be really careful when starting a reload with their Groza. But if you are good at managing your ammo, this weapon proves to be probably the best gun in this class. For using this weapon, I will advise you to have always cover close to you, or even use this weapon inside buildings. Like that, even if you run out of ammo, you always have a cover for a long reload. This weapon excels above all others, not only in its TTK but also on its low recoil. But to exploit the full potential of the Groza, you have to be closer to your enemies than usual, because the damage fall-off of this weapon requires you to play more aggressively and engage targets at close and close mid-ranges. And finally, we have the last two weapons, the AS Val and the HK419. These weapons are special guns created for special roles and playstyles. Both weapons cannot compete against the other choices that you have in this class for pushing directly objectives at mid-ranges, and I will explain why. Let's start with the AS Val. This weapon has only 20 bullets in his mag, when all other weapons have 30 bullets per mag. That, combined with the second highest fire rate in this class, makes this weapon emptying this mag really fast. To use this weapon in the front lines and battle against multiple targets, this weapon requires a master in ammo management. And even with that, it cannot compete against the Groza or even the M4A1. But this weapon was not conceived for this purpose. With this silent barrel, a high recoil, a small ammo mag, this weapon is made for flanking positions and anchor in protected spots, like buildings or less crowded areas. It can also be used to stop enemies' reinforcements behind the enemy lines. And finally, we have the HK419. This weapon has the second best TTK in his class, but also the highest fire rate for his class. And because this weapon already brings a high vertical and horizontal recoil, shooting targets at longer distances, and even at some mid-ranges, this weapon requires a higher aiming skill level. But in reality, this weapon is an hybrid, a mix of carbine stats and SMG stats. It sports a damage profile and damage fall-off of a carbine with a fire rate and recoil of a SMG, making this weapon excellent for pushing objectives in urban maps, where you can roam buildings and be competitive at closer ranges, and still manage to make pressure at mid-ranges if you can deal with the recoil. In the end, for a more aggressive playstyle at close and close mid-ranges, I suggest to use the Groza, but be careful with the reload time. For a more passive, sometimes aggressive playstyle at mid-ranges, the M4A1 or the G36C or the AK5C will do perfectly the job. The choice of the weapon really depends on your aiming skills. For flanks and behind the enemy lines offensives, use the AS Val. His integrated silencer will do wonders for you. But if you like more of the CQC playstyle, but also have the carbine range, use the HK419. With hybrids, it's rare that you can combine the best of both playstyles, but with this weapon in the right hands, you can still pull off some great plays. And with this, we reach the end of the video. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if so, please consider to click the like or dislike button. That will help this channel and will help other players to find this video. And if you don't want to miss future content, please consider to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to receive notifications of future content. And I will see you on my next video, but until then, have a nice day, good gaming, Toon Mountain out.